Nate Z here, finally going to give you guys the video about why the whole Max Lord thing is bothering me. Now, I'll admit part of the reason why I don't like Maxwell Lord being used as a knockoff Lex Luthor is my inner comic book nerd just doesn't like the character being changed that much, or at least that's what it feels like. I will admit I don't know a lot about Maxwell Lord, and like the one modern comic scene I remember reading instead of reading about, he seemed to have very similar motive as to this one. But still, just something about how they're doing it, where he's Tony Stark and Lex Luthor. It goes against. It just doesn't feel right. So again, I admit that is the completely subjective, biased, comic book guy from The Simpsons, worst adaptation ever. That is bugging me. Don't know why. Not a huge fan of the character, but it's bothering me. The other thing is, it's like when I first made that big spiel about him being a knockoff Lex Luthor, there was still some question as to his motives. It's like, oh, okay, he's being manipulative and sacrificing people and testing Supergirl and wanting to know her limits, but we don't know why. And now we know why, and his big spiel about how aliens saving us means we won't be able to defend ourselves anymore, blah, 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 blah. That is exactly Lex Luthor's motive, or at very least what he's convinced himself his method is. And then that scene where he has James tied to a chair and is like beating him up with a baseball bat, that is Lex Luthor. That is something he has done and would do. I mean, at this point, the only real difference is Max Lord has hair and a Tony Stark style beard. And the frustration doesn't have anything to do with the actor or the writing. They're both fine. I mean, the actor, again, that scene where Supergirl first confronts Max Lord, I love that scene. Frustration aside, it is just so well done, and you can tell the actor is just having a blast with the role. So, I mean, I can't fault him. I don't fault him. I don't fault the writing of the character. And the reason why cloning Lex Luthor is bad, because, I've been thinking about the whole I'm not liking that she's just fighting Superman's rogues gallery. Well, I recently started listening to a podcast called Supergirl Radio, and they pointed out that has been a sort of pattern for Kara. She fights Superman's rogue galleries, and that is one of the scenes I really remember from her recent comic run is she fought the Silver Banshee, who is apparently going to be the villain for the Flash crossover that I am super excited about. But anyway, so okay, the character has always fought Superman's rogues gallery. Fine. I accept that. I will try not to let it bother me, but I would still wish they would try to do more original stuff, because I liked Astra. I liked the one bug alien. As far as I know, he's original, but and that's just it. They can do original stuff. But anyway, it's one thing to have her fight Superman's rogues gallery. It's another thing to just copy-paste the character and then try to pass it off as her nemesis. They are seriously trying to make Max Lord her Lex Luthor, almost too literally. Which is fine. Every hero needs their opposite side. Batman, Joker, Sherlock, Moriarty, etc., etc., etc. I get what they're trying to do, but well, I know there's a better way to do it. That's what the other half of this video is going to be. So yeah, this frustrated me so much that I'm about to do something that I kind of hate, actually. I'm listening to podcasts or watching videos about shows or movies or whatever, and they say, this was bad. Why didn't they do this thing? I tend not to like that, not so much because it's negative, oh, who are you to criticize the writing? I don't like it because I always like the suggestion better, and then I get frustrated that I don't get to see that. It's especially bad with this one My Little Pony commenter I watch. The writers just need to hire him at this point. But anyway, but I ended up just thinking about, it's like, okay, they need. Honestly, I think the reason, part of why they ended up cloning Lex Luthor for this, is that is the best way to do the ultimate villain for a character that is this powerful, that, you know, and again, another shout out to Supergirl Radio, they pointed out there's something interesting about the normal, lowly human trying to take down this alien god. So yeah, I get why they did it, but they could have done it better. And here's how I think they could have done it better. But one thing I've noticed is more or less true in just about every incarnation of Lex Luthor is he is straight up sexist. Women are prizes to be conquered. Or, or the case scenario, he just sees them as lowly peons like he sees everyone else, maybe even slightly less so than he would a male peon. So, yeah, but he also is a man whore, or just a whore. So it would not be out of the realm of possibilities for Lex, somewhere along the lines, to have fathered a daughter. And I could totally see Lex Luthor not interested in her at all. This is not a son, this is not a worthy heir, or even it's like, I'm Lex Luthor, I'm going to figure out immortality. So whatever, just completely dismisses her. I mean, maybe sets it up so she lives in comfort, but just like, go away, girl, you bother me. Doesn't, other than that, just does not acknowledge her. Well, I would see this character, let's call her Alexis. I could see this Alexis getting frustrated, wanting to prove herself to her father, or just coming to resent him. One leading to the other, both, whatever. So at one point, she just strikes out on her own, doesn't even take the lowly loan of $1 million, if that would have even been offered to her. No, she just starts completely from scratch, moves to a new city, and starts a company, and it just grows until it becomes something akin to LexCorp. Just to, stick it to the old man. Yeah, I don't need you. I did this all by myself. And let's just say it becomes as big as whatever Max Lord's company is and actually starts competing with LexCorp. And a couple of her products are outselling Lex's products. That gets Lex's attention. That finally gets him to acknowledge her. But instead of finally saying, I tip my hat to you, or daughter, I am proud, come, let us join forces and conquer the world, he's like, well, you see, you've made me angry, you're a competition, and I destroy the competition, so I'm going to destroy you. You should have known better, you silly girl, or something like that. Again, Lex Luthor's a butthole, he totally would have done this. So, on top of dealing with competing with LexCorp and, just basically trying to keep ahead of that, trying to get some form of respect from her father, suddenly there is a super person in her city. And she decides, you know what? We'll get Dad's attention. You know what? We'll get Dad's respect if I do what he hasn't been able to do. If I kill Supergirl, I will get to rub it in his face that I accomplished what he could not. Or maybe she says, you know what, I'll kill Supergirl as a practice run for killing Superman. Either way. So we have the motivation, we have someone who's smart intelligence. We have a reason for this character to be a clone of Lex Luthor. And it would work. And it would go with what this show's theme, one of the big driving homes. I mean, I know Melissa herself was really driving home this point about, the whole gender equality, that part of the reason why she is so excited for this project. She wants to show women can do anything that men can do. And again, that is one of the reasons why I want the show to succeed. I agree wholeheartedly. The show just needs to find a way to deliver its message better. In what way than to show that there is a woman character who is more or less an equal to the DC Universe's biggest bad? So yeah, you have that angle. I think that would work really well with what the show is trying to do. And then, but then, I'm going to take it a step further. Um, I want more diversity. I want more black characters. I want more Arab characters. I want more Mexican characters. And I want more characters of different sexual orientations. So I would even take it a step further and make Alexis Luthor a lesbian. And somewhere along the line, she meets and develops feelings for Kara, or Kara's sister, which would probably be renamed in this scenario. I would go with Linda, but that's just me. So, there's that whole complication, and, maybe it's not so much that Kara or the sister returns the feelings, but forms a friendship with this person, really enjoys their company, thinks this person is doing good. This person is not at all like their father. They're doing amazing things. And that would add an extra edge to scope, with example, the scene of Kara staring down Alexis, realizing, no, this person is not good. This person is exactly like their father. I don't know what to believe. I'm hurt and confused and angry. And then again, pardon me, this could also lead to more interesting developments when, let's keep the twist where Alexis here discovers the connection between the sister and Supergirl's identity, just like Maxwell Lord did. And I'm going to do another thoughts on that. And she could deal with the hurt and trauma that, oh my god, this person I love, who I thought understood me, is cozying up to the alien. Or if, she develops the feelings for Kara, it's like, oh my god, I'm trying to kill the person that I care about, or the person I care about has been lying to me this whole time. I mean, there's so many different ways you could take that. And let's be honest, this is the day of the internet where Batman's barely resist urge to snap the Joker's neck is somehow interpreted as barely keeping his lust in check. There, the people who, for whatever reason, think Lex Luthor really wants to do other things to Superman. I don't know why this section of the internet exists, but let's not kid ourselves, it does. So again, if I were a writer on the show, I would just give them what they want in this case, because again, it could add another layer if done right. So again, that's all the reason why the Lex Luthor Maxwell Lord thing frustrates me, because not so much that, oh, they're giving her a villain similar to Lex Luthor, is they're not doing it well. Again, I don't want to say I'm ragging on the show. I am enjoying the show. I will go far as to say I still love the show. But it still has a lot of work to do. It's still trying to figure itself out. And again, maybe there are reasons for why it's doing what it's doing, But it doesn't make it any less frustrating. So, but though I'm glad I brought up the identity twists. I mentioned when that scene happened, it made me glad I put this video off, because I did want to talk about that for a bit. It really made me think about just how similar they really are making Lex and Max. Because there's this famous Superman story where Lex Luthor builds a supercomputer and it figures out that Clark Kent is Superman. But Lex has the computer dismantled and is angry that it wasted his time, because in his twisted mind, no one as powerful as Superman would pretend to be such a weakling as Clark Kent. one could make the argument, Lex, you're an idiot, you're the world's dumbest smart person, but again, it's just the perfect window into how his mind works, about how obsessed with power he is. And, is the real reason why he hates Superman so much. Again, I think that's another part of the reason why, because Lex really is a complex, fascinating character. This just comes off as, again, like I said, copy, paste. We don't want to make our own original characters. We just want to copy it. Again, I think that's why he resembles Tony Stark so much, too. So, when we get to the part of Supergirl where he discovers who Supergirl is, he doesn't deny it. He's like, oh, this is interesting. And while it hasn't paid off like I hoped it would, I was totally hoping he'd start hanging around, Catco and saying dialogue that could be taken the wrong way, and just Kara has to shoot him a sideways glance every once in a while. So again, I do like that they are making him somewhat different, I guess, but again, he's just still way too similar. I had to remind myself of these differences. So, yeah, and I am quickly approaching 17 minutes, so I will just wrap this up. I hope you enjoyed, gave you guys something to think about. Feel free to tell me if you think that's a good idea or a stupid idea. And these super sidebars, as I've taken to call them, they will happen whenever I think I have something I really want to say that it doesn't have to do directly with an episode. But yeah, I've yammered on long enough about this topic. See you guys next week for a new episode, and I hope I don't explode on March 28th so I can talk to you guys about the Flash crossover. Anyway, y'all have a good night.